We are live. We're
We
live.
are live. This is awesome. Rebecca, I have your book right here, Program for Unhappiness. And I've been looking over it, glancing over it. I even wrote a post about one of the specific pages in your book in the Generational Copy Facebook group. And it just going back over this book, it takes me back to the time we were working together. And so I just wanted to highlight that. And I've got a whole list of questions and things that I want to ask you this evening. And I know you like to do things impromptu. So is that cool with you?
That's very cool with me, and I love I love questions, and I love impromptu, and just hit me right in the moment. Let's go.
Okay, awesome. You are just so real, and I love that about you. And I'm the same way. So it works out really well. So, Rebecca, there's one thing that struck me as a potential trigger in your book for a lot of people. And that was the statement that happiness is a choice. So people may look at least you may not have worded it
Yeah,
exactly.
I was about to say I've never said happiness is a choice. It would be, and the reason why I say that is if you're programmed, it's not a choice.
Right.
But yeah, keep going.
Yeah.
Let me just correct one thing.
Yeah.
One trigger in the book? No, there's a lot of triggers. When you
Facts.
read the book, you're going to be triggered. Okay, keep going.
Yes, that's 100% true. And I'm grateful that you corrected me on that because the whole happiness is a choice thing or that idea, I'm really glad you corrected because that made me think for a moment about how a lot of people do actually say that happiness is a choice. But you contradicted that statement and said, no, wait a second. If you're programmed, then happiness isn't a choice. So, can you elaborate a little bit more on that? Because my interpretation of what you wrote or what we've talked about and all these conversations we've had, my interpretation was that happiness is if something happens to you that's undesirable, that you have to change your perspective about what happened in order to achieve or feel that sense of happiness.
Okay, so let's see, because I took notes. You
That's a
said,
lot to unpack.
yeah, that's okay. That's perfect. A lot to unpack is good. This whole happiness thing. Let me just start out. Let me give you my definition. I don't know if I did in the first episode, the first week, but I'm going to share it again at the top of the show. My definition of happiness is the ability to vibrate an energy of peace and contentment, regardless of what happens. Now, how do you even get there? How do you even practice that? What? Regardless of what happens, well, what if somebody dies? What if I found out I just had cancer? How do you do that? And so that's why it is a practice. And so what do you practice? You practice. There's, I think I list 25 or 26 what to practice. So it is a constant practice when I say living in a state of neutrality. What does that mean? That means you live right here. You don't go up, you don't go down with what happens around you. Now, there are going to be moments when you feel excited or you feel the opposite of excited, sad, angry, whatever you're feeling. It's actually a lot different things to consider when you have one of those unwanted moments. Number one, know that you are going to feel however you're feeling, meaning I practice not labeling my emotions. I don't know if I said that the first week. I practice
No.
not labeling my emotions. So I'm feeling, I'm human and I'm feeling angry, sad. It doesn't matter. I'm feeling, I'm charged. I'm feeling something. But when you attach a story to it, I'm feeling this way because
Right.
that's a program. But let me get back to your choice question. So when a person is programmed, meaning when you are not aware that you are just reacting, you spend time, life reacting to life as opposed to responding, you know that you're programmed. A reaction is just automatic. And I'll give you an example of what happened to me. I shared this morning on this show that I have with my son on Saturday morning, 9:15, mother and son making sense out of nonsense, plus more.
Love that.
So I had I needed some shutters, bathroom, and I'll get to I needed some bathroom shutters installed. And anyway, so the guys come out to the house, two guys. And this is well, it's an old house, but it's just been remodeled with new paint. And so one of the workers put his hand, his installer grubby hand on the wall, the door jam, leaning on the wall. He's just leaning on it. And I instantly said, uh, I didn't say please. I said, get your hands. I don't know if I said get your hands. I said, can you take your hands off the wall? Just like that. Instant anger, instant annoyance, instant irritation. However, the truth is, it was time for me to feel the anger, the annoyance, the irritation, but that had nothing to do with him putting his hand on the wall. It was just time. But when you're programmed, you don't even dissect all of that. It's just, this person did something and now I'm pissed. You're always equating your emotions with the story. So when you're programmed, that's what you do.
I'm so grateful for that clarification that you gave. That is profound. That is truly profound. Yesterday, I'll share something. There was a person who I know, and there was a very light situation. It really was not a problem at all. The tiniest of tiniest things happen, like me taking this pen and let's say I drop it on the floor, like that level of tiny. And the person, upon this action or event happening, immediately went into panic mode, I guess you could say, and was like, please, stop, like wild, total overreaction over something like that. And it didn't have anything to do with me. It was just a thing I had observed, a situation I observed. And I looked at the person and I was like, can you calm down? It's not that big of a deal. And then their response was exactly what you said, where they attached their reaction to the story that they had about that event. And I don't know if people realize how profound that is, but it really makes a huge difference. So can you talk to us a little bit more? I'd like to know, and I'm sure that our audience would like to know as well, how do you practice not attaching the feeling that you feel to the life circumstance or event that just occurred, especially if it's a more severe situation, like you said, a death, a disease, something, more debilitating?
Nikki, with all of this work, 45 years of this, it's a practice and it doesn't happen overnight. But with that, I mean, it automatically comes to me just because of what I practice. Now, we get back to your example. When she did all that, move the pen one way. Ooh, ooh, but then you came out with, it's not that big of a deal, or but I guarantee, I don't know for sure, I wasn't there, but I guarantee that they weren't happy with your comment.
Probably not. Mine was probably just as much a programmed response as theirs was.
And it wasn't a program. Well, it was a program, but it came from a place of caring. And let me just say this: some programs come from a place of caring. So you came from a place of love and a place of caring. What's wrong with you? You didn't come like that.
No.
But the thing is, this is not a big deal to you. I mean, it's this way. Wait, which way?
I gotta figure this out.
This way. Oops. This way. Lord. Okay, it's this way. Yes. Okay, I had to point to the wall. It's this way. So that's another practice to these people. I mean, I talked to a woman today that repeated herself 3 times, and I wanted to say, I heard you the first time. Mm-hmm. So my response was just to listen and just to observe or take it all in. In other words, I would suggest, don't respond to these people unless they're asking you a question. Let these people, and myself included, I'm not just say these people, I'm one of these people. Yeah. Let these people just be themselves, and the biggest gift you can give somebody is acceptance without judgment. So this woman that did this to this, I'm not telling her that's not a big deal. And the only reason I'm not is because I spent years and years and years and decades telling people this isn't a big deal. Don't you get it?
Right. Right. And it's not landing. Yeah, no. There's some other things that I want to tell you about that particular situation as we go through this podcast. I don't want to just dump it all on you right now because there's so many other questions and I'm sure people want answers to. So, and not just the things that I see, you know. So, one of the things that you had intrigued me about the last podcast that we did together was the birthday story. And I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, of course, but I believe that you mentioned that there were like two wishes that you had, two predominant wishes, which one was to be happy and the other was to reach your potential. We've talked about happiness a lot and we're going to continue to talk about that. But I was curious, do you feel that you have reached your potential?
Well, it wasn't reaching my potential, it was living my potential.
Ah,
Because reaching means that there's a goal to get to.
right. Yep.
No, I'm not on a goal. I don't have anything to reach for. I don't have anything to look. No, it's living my potential. And that happens every single day. And it happens for every single person. When I said you're doing as the best you can in every single day, I am, and so are you. So
Oh, wow.
living my potential. So when you quote me, can you quote me right, please? What? I mean, that's strike two. No.
I know. I'm on strike two right now. I love that though. I love the nuance of the language because what you're really doing, this is kind of like a one-on-one coaching session for me because as you're teaching me and enlightening me to these things, I'm learning and going along with the flow with you. And as you're speaking, I'm thinking about other things that I may say or have said in my own life that maybe didn't resonate because they weren't they weren't accurate. Maybe that wasn't an accurate perception of what.
No, no. And know this, that whatever you said and whatever you did in the past was perfect too. You needed to say it like that. You needed to express it that way, and the other person needed to hear it that way.
Yeah.
So everything is in order. There's no going back and thinking that what I said I could have changed. No change. It's all in order. This is the ride of our lives. You sit back, take your hands off the steering wheel and enjoy it, all of it. And the challenge is to enjoy even the moments that feel unwanted.
Yeah. Do you guys see, those of you guys who are watching live and the replay, do you see how helpful this woman is? Like,
Oh,
just brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I love being in your presence. And yes, pat on the back, pat on the shoulder, like all that, because I really do just enjoy learning from you. And it's an amazing experience. So, everybody, grab the book. You got to grab the book, Program for Unhappiness. It is really good. And it's one of those books that, as you can tell from this conversation, you can read it once. And as Rebecca says, you'll get exactly what you need out of it that first read through. But the second time you read it, you're going to pick up something different. And the third time and the fourth time, it's one of those books that you want to go back to and reread, you know, in spaced out durations. You wouldn't obviously want to read it four times in a week. I wouldn't recommend that.
some people would. Some people would. You see how that story. You don't want to do that. But you see, they might
Right.
want to read it 4 times in a week, and it
Right.
is an easy read. May I kind of jump in and share a couple of chapters, because one of the things
Yes.
that I love is coming up with a title or a chapter title. I don't know why, it's just my thing. And-
Yes.
yeah,
Let's do it.
and I love some of my titles. I just want to get some juicy ones. Okay, chapter 2, you are programmed. Who are you? So it even gets down to finding out, do you really know yourself? Do you know who you are? And I share a story, personal story, how I thought I knew who I was until I took a test.
Yes.
But you'll have to read the book to find out. And let's see, the other one, I just want to read some chapter titles that comparing yourself to someone else. Let's see. Oh, selling dissatisfaction for profit. And in fact, Nikki, I went to this networking marketing event yesterday. It was free, and it was put on by this global. I mean, he's known all over the world. Pictures with Arnold, pictures with Richard Branson. I mean, one of those guys that what they do is they have celebrities seminars, and it's a big ticket. So you'll it's the same kind of thing with Walter O'Brien. Same, well, you have big ticket people, millionaires and billionaires that are attending. And these people that were there programmed out the rear end, because what the message was, you're broke and there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
The whole broke. I'm broke. I'm broke. Not I'm woke. I'm broke. You're broke. You're broke. You're broke. There's something wrong. If you're broke, there's something wrong with you. You're not trying hard enough. It was constant. And I even asked the question. This is the question I asked. I said, how do you monetize something that no one values until it's too late?
Oh my God. Yes. That is the question of the century. Yes.
You know what he told me?
I'm ready for it.
Find something else to sell.
Yeah. Yep. Makes perfect sense why they would say that.
So the selling dissatisfaction for a profit.
What chapter is that?
The chapter 10, selling dissatisfaction for profit, page 82. What the life coaches, motivational speakers, and gurus of the world don't want you to know. Life coaches, motivation speakers, gurus of the world don't want you to know. Listen, he even had strategies. Let's see, it's the 3-step rule: bait, hook, and pull. And he said, if you're not taking notes, get out. So I had to pretend to take notes, because didn't need to take notes. Motivation, celebrity, knowing celebrity not motivation. Money, getting more money, and celebrity is not a motivation for me.
No, and actually, if you're not to, I'm not trying to give a programmed response or anything like that, but actually, in most of the people's experience that I have personally come into contact with, one of the best things that works for people is to just pay attention rather than trying to take notes all the time, because inevitably they can't keep up with everything. And it's not, obviously it's not wrong to have a pen and a notepad with you. I have it here with you, but to force someone, to compel someone to take notes, as the teacher in me is kind of like,
Well, I did it. One of the things, listen, if you really want to be happy, if you really want to be at peace, sometimes you just surrender. Oh, you want me to take notes?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll take notes. And that's why I did it. You think I want to take notes? You think I need to take notes? Hell no. But I do want peace. And when they're walking down the aisle and looking and seeing my paper, I need to have some notes.
You are so funny. What a riot. Hilarious.
This is the other thing. Is telling the truth. You can lie to everybody to keep the peace, but you tell the truth to yourself. You look in the mirror, you always tell the truth. But if you have to lie, I'll take some notes. Who are you? Get branded, get noticed, get wealthy. You know what else he said? He called Whole Foods. Everything was about money. He called Whole Foods whole pocketbook. That was kind of funny. No, whole paycheck. That's what he said.
Yeah, because it costs so much to go there and get food. Yeah.
Pitch, why, how, value. Oh, and then don't forget the sales pitch at the end. Well, actually, it was in the middle and the end. For $100,000, you get a full 100% coaching. If you pay today, it's $3,000. If you payments, it's this. Another one, $3 million. I'm just saying all of this, not to poo-poo anybody or anybody's journey.
No, never.
But it's not going to bring you contentment. Money is not going to bring you contentment. It's not going to bring you peace. It's not going to bring you anything other than just something else to look at.
Yeah, I have a question for you about money. Does money, from your perspective, magnify what and who you already are?
Huh?
So a lot of times people say, as an example, they'll say that, like, if you are a greedy person and you come into a lot of money for whatever reason, you inherited it or you won the lottery or something, that having a lot of money will just amplify the greediness that is a part of you. Do you find like statements like that to be true?
A program or not. Well, this is what I'm going to say, that if you whoever you are right now, and I drop $100 million in your lap, you're still the same person. You're still going to have the same insecurities. You're still going to have the same fears. You're going to still have the same things that are going on in here and in here. Money isn't going to change that. You you'll be able to buy something, but it doesn't change a person. No, I don't think it changes.
Right. Right. Now, this is another question again, because this whole interview is impromptu. So,
Yes.
and I love that. I really do love that about you and this process. But the question that I had related to money in particular is, do you, maybe you think this, maybe you don't. I'm going to assume that you think this, but correct me if I'm wrong. So I'm assuming that most people probably believe that money changes the way a person looks at another person. So for example, if you have a janitor and a CEO, that money changes maybe the way that one person is treated over another. Do you find that to be the case, that is money a program, or are there beliefs that people have about money that influence the way that they treat other people, and does money have the power to influence the way you view and treat other people depending on whether they have money or not?
I would say it depends on the individual. Totally on the individual. This is one of the things that this guy said. He says, I can tell if you have money, I can tell if you're not, I can tell if you're lazy, I can tell if you're right brain, left brain, I can tell all of that.
Wow.
And at the end of the seminar, he let everybody take a picture with him. And of course, you know me, guess what I had?
A picture. Oh, you had your book. Oh,
Of
sweet.
course, that's right. I said, oh, would you? First, I had to ask him. I said, can I take a picture with you in my book? He says, you can't pay me enough to do that. I said, oh, okay. And I took a picture with him. Look at how cute you are. I love the mouth hanging open. Nathan and I do that. My son and I do that all the time. The mouth hang. That's a good one. And the bigger it hangs, the funnier it is.
It was genuine shock.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah. He said, no, you can pay me enough.
wow.
Yeah, and he was here. He travels all over, and tonight I'm doing some DJ with Shaq, and then tomorrow doing he was plugging celebrity, because a lot of people are impressed with celebrity, and he was plugging celebrity and money. But
Yeah.
the thing is, your question, you think this guy cares about peons? I didn't get the sense that he cared about peons, meaning people with no money.
I don't think he
Meaning,
cares
I'm
about
talking about
anybody.
myself.
Yeah. It doesn't come across that he really cares about anybody but himself.
But we're not judging.
But yeah, I don't even know who you're speaking of. So
Yeah.
I'm just making it but that is a really interesting, a really interesting experience that you had. Can I ask what compelled you to go to that seminar?
Well, it was free. It was free, and it was on a Saturday. And how did he market it? Oh, he needs speakers. He needs women speakers.
Oh,
Yeah, that's the new thing too. Women empowerment. Not that I'm poo-pooing on it, but I am poo-pooing on it. Can we just get together as far as dividing? But anyway, I digress. Yeah, that's what it was. Women speakers. I need more women speakers. And I said, let's see what it is. I had a free Friday. Let's go. And that's why I went.
I love that about you. So spontaneous and just
Spontaneous. And I sat in the back, and I didn't, and I, what did I only asked that one question about how do you monetize something that people don't value until it's too late. I only asked that one question, and that was that. Took a picture. Hasta la vista, I'm out.
Yeah. To that point about people won't pay for something until it's like too late, that whole thing. It reminds me, of course, of famous artists like maybe Picasso and like different people, who they live these tortured lives and these, tortured existences and things. And then it wasn't until after their death that they became famous essentially for their work.
Hmm.
So in today's world where people have a lot of talents, a lot of very unique talents, and we've got all different kinds of modalities and mediums to be able to quote unquote create our own economies. Like I guess I feel like I'm second guessing everything that I'm saying right now because I feel like I'm going to get corrected, which is good. I want to be corrected. I want to be corrected, but I don't want to be wrong either. So, but in essence, you've kind of created your own economy with this happiness specialty that you have, and these unique takes and these really deep thoughts that you have about happiness and life and spirituality and everything. And so what would you say if someone had asked you that question? How do you monetize something that people don't pay for until it's too late, or they don't value until it's too late? What would your answer to that?
Now, see, I love you, Nikki, but I don't do hypotheticals. What would I say? I don't have a clue. How do I monetize something that nobody really cares about until it's too late? The only thing I would tell anyone is just follow your intuition, follow your inspiration, accept where you are, and be okay. Be okay with where you are. This whole thing about
Yeah.
the world sells dissatisfaction. I mean, this guy was selling dissatisfaction all over the place. To be dissatisfied with how much money you have, be dissatisfied with how much you're working. He said he has every 5 minutes of his day is blocked out. He knows what he's going to do every 5 minutes. Travels all over the world. I don't know. It didn't seem like a life that I would want, but I'm not him.
Right.
Yeah, no hypotheticals. Let's really let's do some how do I fill in the blank? Now, in other words, give me a question that you have, Nikki. What's going on that you might need a different perspective?
Yeah.
And by the way, I just wanted to share, how many of you saw The Terminator? So I'm representing Sarah Connor at the end of the movie, if you know. You remember the end of the movie?
No, I
Sarah,
never saw the movie.
oh, Lord. It's really a good reference. Really a good reference. In fact, you can probably go on YouTube, the last scene in Terminator. The last scene in Terminator. Yeah. And I look just like her, except for her hair straight. Just like her. It's a really powerful scene.
Maybe you could like edit that in to the video to this podcast.
Good idea. That's a good idea. Yeah, Sarah Connor. So I just wanted to share why I was going to share why I have my headband, but keep going. Actually, I was at my sister's house, and it's very hot in Las Vegas, and she doesn't believe in air conditioning. I was cutting up her watermelon, and last time I was there, I was sweating like a pig, so I put my headband on. That's the real story. Next topic.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Oh my god, this is amazing. It's so intense, and I just love this because I have all these feelings right now circulating in my system, and as you pointed out in the beginning, it's just time. It's time for those feelings to surface. So I think that's a really cool perspective. I'm taking so many things from this, like personally, and I really hope that other people are gaining the same value that I am. I'm sure that they are. So one of the questions that I have written on my paper is, how long did it take you to write this masterpiece?
What a good question. It's an interesting question. It took me, I mean, I was writing it before I lived in Oregon, and I was in Oregon 5 years. I'm here in Vegas now. I think it's 3 years. I lose all track of time. So maybe 7 years, 7.5 years. But it wasn't, it was always in my head to write, and I would write a little bit, and I would write articles, and I would write parts. But it took a while, but it has nothing to do. That's another story. It wasn't time for this book to come out until now. And so let me give you a hint. Let me give you a hint. When you know it's a story when it's longer than 3 words.
Yeah.
3 words. You know it's a story. And what is a story anyway? A story is authored by your ego. A story is thinking you know a reason, thinking that you know something, scratch that, thinking I know something. Oh, I know why they, I don't know anything. In fact, the practice is to know less, experience more, know. I don't know why. I don't know. And I don't care. No, no, don't care.
Wow. These are so profound. I mean,
Don't care, don't care. Do
wow.
you do you world?
Yeah.
I know, yeah.
Wow. I'm definitely gonna have to like watch the replay of this just for my own self. So, I mean, because it is just so, so deep and I can just tell it's really raising my personal vibration and I love it. So another a question is the book is called Programmed for Unhappiness. So when we talk about programmed responses, and I think that's in one of the chapters of your book, but maybe it's a chapter page 55, I think.
Let's see.
Oh,
Yes.
see, I'm offended. So what are you going to do about it? Oh, it's page 41, 55 program behaviors that subtract from unhappiness. So on page 41, that's the starting of that chapter. And the book is called Program for Unhappiness. And we've talked about these programmed responses that lead to, unhappiness. And so essentially is what you're teaching, are we installing new programs? Is that what's going on? Are they all essentially programmed responses? Everything, whether we're happy or unhappy, are they all programmed responses? It's just one
Yes.
producing an undesirable result and the other one's producing a more desirable result?
They're all program behaviors, and the practice is to eliminate all programs, all of them, one at a time, because it's not serving you. I'll tell you what happened today. I was getting my compression therapy, and a woman was sitting next to me. Usually I have the whole lounge to myself. Anyway, she was sitting next to me, and she was from Czechoslovakia. She had an accent, and then I didn't start chatting with her right away because I don't like people. I mean, I wanted a little peace and quiet. I didn't say that out loud, did I? I'm just kidding. I'm joking. And that's
All good.
another thing. Can everybody just lighten up? Laugh more, laugh more. That's on your to-do list. And I mean laugh so hard you want to pee on yourself. Okay. So she's talking, and she was talking about, well, I should have brought my book. And I said, oh, you read? And she said, I love to read. So here I am sitting next to her. I said, well, what do you read? And of course it's not self-help books or these kind of books. And I said, oh, okay. I said, because she said, oh, you like self-help books? I said, well, actually I'm an author. Bottom line is, so we were talking, and she shared that her father died a year and a half ago. Her father was 93. Her father died a year and a half ago, and she started tearing up. She started crying right next to me, and she said, I can't get over. She said, because he was in Czechoslovakia, she was here, and when when it was getting close to the end, I guess he was in hospice. She got her tickets on the way to visit her father. Her father was dying, and she got there 2 hours too late. He
Oh,
already died. Now, so she's feeling bad. This is a year and a half later, and she's still crying and grieving. And she said, I just haven't felt good ever since. And I introduced myself, and I said, would you like my perspective? Because I'm not just, this is what you need to do.
right.
You program. No. You robot. No.
You bought.
But I thought it. No.
You crack me up.
And then I said a year and a half. I said, do you have children? Yeah, she's got of course older children, I guess 40s and 50s. I said, well, let me just share with you. I told her the story with my son, and being conscious of the whole death thing, because people don't talk about death. People just brush it off, and I think that's one of the reasons why it's so traumatic when it happens. There's no conversation, there's no normalcy to it, and then the program is death is a loss. I lost my father. It's just death is change. Anyway, this is what I shared. So she's still, I mean, very upset. And I said, well, you've got those two children, and you're going to be going sooner or later. And I shared with her what I did with my son. meaning just to talk about it. And I showed the picture last week. Didn't I show the picture of after my father died? Did I show that picture?
Not that I recall.
Did I ever tell you that story?
No.
Oh, okay. Everybody seatbelt time. So this photograph. Okay, hold on. This photograph, I'll put it up to the camera. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
So that's my son, Nathan. This photograph was taken in 2008, 1 hour after I buried my father.
Oh, wow.
And I'm showing you this is because I was conscious on that day that I wanted to give him another way to respond to my death. Not just, oh, ah. There's some backstory to it. I've been to many funerals, and there's one young woman who was an only child, and when her mother died, it was 2 years of breast cancer. We already knew she was going to go, but the daughter, when it happened, the daughter was just crazy, just screaming and crying at the funeral. And I said, I don't want that to happen. I said, at least I'm not telling him how to behave or how to respond, but at least I'm going to give him another option. And my point is this, and I shared that with this woman at the cryotherapy place. And I said, would your father want you to be so upset for a year and a half? Would your father want you to be not happy and in this state of, she called it funk? Would your father want that? No. I said, well then. But see, what happens is people get so attached to their grief and their mourning, and that they hang on, that they become addicted. I can't feel anything else but sadness, and I can't feel anything else. But yes, you can when you get to the programs, because it's a program that tells you you can't get over it.
Yeah.
Not to say you get over it. I'm just saying there's a different energy. This, when I think about my father, my mother, I don't cry. Not to say that there's anything wrong with crying. I want to be very clear, but there are a lot of different ways to respond.
Yeah. Wow. This is incredible. I mean, I think that this whole conversation today really has been one of the deeper, not that all of our conversations are deep to some level, but this, like, my head is buzzing right now. There's like a buzz because of all of this. And it's a lot to take in. And with death, like you say, there are so many different ways to respond to this change, as you said, of life. And for some people, they're absolutely going to cry, and they need to cry. And as you said, they need to feel what they feel. It is time to feel those things. And in a way, it's cleansing, but there is, I think what I hear you saying, and again, this might be strike 3 for me, but
no. You already have 3 strikes.
Oh, do I have?
Yeah, you already do. But keep going. So I'll give you extended strikes. So.
We're gonna have to get another batter up. So that's funny. I love it. But one of the things that I feel like I hear you saying is that there's take all the time you need to grieve, but when there is a moment of clarity, and you choose to, whether it's consciously or subconsciously, hang on to those feelings, then now it's taken a turn from grieving, especially what is very normal under considering the circumstances, taking what is normal and now shifting it to become a way of life. Is that
addiction? That's exactly what I'm saying. And again, take as long as time as you need. I'm not telling you take 10 years, but know that there is another way of living. There is another way to live. And what happens is that crying and, oh, I feel so bad and I wish I could have. I mean, 2 hours, and I get it. 2 hours. If I'm on, listen, I heard that my father died. My mother called me on the phone and left a message. Your father died this morning. Click.
Wow.
Well, that's another show.
That's another show for another day. Yeah.
That's another show. Wow. Oh, Becky, your father died this morning. What?
Just
Anyway.
like just like that. Like,
Anyway, yeah,
like
that's another
oh my god, it's like a dentist, hey, just want to recall to remind you have a dentist appointment today. Like it's one of those calls, but wow.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, anywho, but what I'm saying is, so now, but see, now when you're crying a year and a half later, 2.5 years later, now this feeling or this behavior is serving you in a way that isn't contentment. You see, I'm not going to say negatively serving you, but it's serving, it's not, scratch that, it's not serving you to keep holding on, holding on, holding on. Just like suffering is a program too. That's a tough one. It's
Yeah.
not a program, but if you're suffering for months and years, mentally, I'm talking about, it's a program.
Yeah, that's an interesting point because in in my relationships with some other people, and I'm sure people can relate to this, especially in their own families. I feel like in every family has got like at least one person that's like this, but there are some people who hold on to things that happened 30, 40, 50 years ago, still talk about them to this day as if they had just happened and they're still relevant in the moment that they're living in. And that reminds me of the comment, kind of coming full circle here with what you said earlier, attaching those feelings and the circumstances that we have to a story. And I've even seen it happen in real life. And to me, now that I know the things that I know from you, which in comparison to what I know like the tiniest drop in the bucket, which I'm very grateful for. I'm very content with that little drop. But because it's for me, it's
It's a
enough.
lot.
It's a lot to take
It,
in that one little thing, go ahead.
no, I was going to say, I've been doing this, 16. I want to be happy. I've been looking for this since 45 years. So
Yeah.
of course this is a practice, but when you start, if you really value contentment, if you really value wanting to be happy and peaceful and just be and able to navigate through this life of ups and downs, and that's what it is, ups and downs, health, death, all of it, relationships, all of it. Can you just do it like this? Oh, Bob, next, 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 no story, next, trust, surrender, all of that. You just hit it out the park. And I still practice. Don't think, I'm yelling at the guy with his hand on my door. I didn't yell it, but yeah, I said, hey, get hand off the wall. And I'm a happiness specialist.
Yeah.
But
But you
yeah,
weren't then. Is that right?
that was 2 days ago. With the hand on the
Oh.
wall, that was 2 days ago. That's what I'm trying to tell you. I'm still don't think that I'm running around here not getting triggered either. Come on. Listen, I'm good, but I ain't that good.
That's oh my
Yeah,
goodness.
that was 2 days ago. And then I'll tell you, I have this thing, my triggers. I got these triggers that I've had for decades. The customer service, the stupid questions for decades. And this last week, I went in finally, and I asked the universe, didn't ask, but can you help me with these stupid questions? Walking in the bank and how's your day going? And it's 8:30 in the morning.
Mhm. Mhm.
But before I
Yep.
walked in the
I
bank,
didn't ask you that today.
thank you. I walked in before I walked in the bank and I said, give me all the stupid questions that you can. Just give them to me. Because how am I going to practice if I don't ask? I'm asking for stupid questions now. If that isn't crazy, some people ask for money, a house, a relationship. No, I ask for stupid questions so I can practice being calm and peaceful when I get them. What kind of life is that?
Wow. I'll tell you what, you are the real deal. This is so deep. So I don't want to take up too much of our time. I know we're getting close
Oh,
to, all this. It's just so much,
so
and
good.
time just flies, and it's amazing and everything. So I had a couple of like thoughts I thought we could unpack before we go. Uh,
Please.
one of the one of the things, back to the original story about the person who I had mentioned earlier with it wasn't really a pen, but like the pen thing. And this person is not as she incredibly smart person. I don't want to judge her and say she's not as spiritually aware as I am, but she doesn't do the same things that I do. Like you walking into the bank and saying, "Give me every stupid question you possibly can so I can get used to." That's very in tune and in alignment with something that I would do as well, especially if I felt the call to do that. You know what I mean? And people would look at me like I was crazy, but I would be fully okay with it because I would know I'm on my own journey. So even though I'm not where you are, I very much so resonate with what you say because I would do the exact same thing. I do try to live a life that is very light and judgment, self-judgment free and judgment free of others. Not perfect at it, but I do try. So this person has had what I guess I would classify as very low vibes for the past several weeks. And this is what occurred. So her and I have always talked, especially recently, about, and this may not be accurate, but you'll have to tell me. We have always talked about how we believe that the universe gives us signs that when we are out of alignment with our happiness and all the things that would bring us true joy and contentment and inner peace, when we're out of alignment with those things, the universe will send these signals basically saying, get back in alignment with these things, or you're going to get more of this because that's the direction you're moving into. And so these little things over the past few weeks have been occurring to this person, making this person's life even more miserable and it's not a miserable life, but it was making them miserable. And then because they saw it that way. And then this major thing happened, where they were pulling out in an intersection. And thankfully, this person had someone tell them prior to them leaving the house. They said, hey, just check your mindset before you get in the car and you go somewhere because you're not in the right headspace. You're not yourself. And I want to make sure that nothing bad happens to you when you leave this house today. And so even though she still had low vibes, or what I would classify as low vibes, she was aware because of what this one person said. So she was getting ready to pull out in front of into the intersection. And just within a split second moment, she decided to hit the brakes because she saw this car that was speeding and it fully would have, 100%. I mean, the car was going too fast. It would have ran right directly into her and killed her. 110%. That's exactly what would have happened. And so she took a deep breath, realizing what could have just occurred. And she looked to God and said, thank you for looking out for me, because that was what would have happened. So my question to you is that an accurate portrayal of what truly occurs when we are out of alignment with our true selves? These signs, these things, these events happen that are like basically warning signs saying, and they get progressively more, I guess you could say, extreme. It could be things like an accident, jail time, maybe even death. It could be a lot of things, but it's trying to get you to come back to self. Is that accurate?
No.
Okay.
Next question.
Explain to me, please. Explain to me what. I love your direction.
I love you so much. I love you so much. First, I want to say something before. There's a difference between judgment and witnessing and describing.
Okay.
Scratch that, not witnessing. Judgment and describing. So there's a difference. I'm describing this person as opposed to judging this person.
Right.
Big
Definitely
difference.
not trying to judge. For sure.
No, I didn't feel that at all. Okay, so now the whole out of alignment. What does that mean? Self, your presence, your higher self is never out, is never away from you. It doesn't leave. Well, I'm going to go. See you back in a little bit. It's always there. You are always connected. You are in alignment. You are always connected. Always. I didn't go So what happens is it's destiny. It wasn't her time. It wasn't her time to get hit by a train or a truck. What happened happened, and who knows. See, the thing is, I'm talking about myself, trying to understand and and communicate what the universe means. I've given it up. I'm not even trying to come up with a story. Oh, and so now, with this low vibes, and then the car almost hit her and she was 100% almost killed. And then that means that no, it means nothing. It just means she was driving, she stopped the car, and she wasn't hit. That's all it is. So the extra, extra, extra. But what is true is that we are all living out our destiny, that you can't slow it down. You can't speed it up. You cannot have it happen. Whatever your destiny is, it is going to happen. Now, I have a question for you. Why are you so involved, chatty, 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 with someone with such low vibes? But you don't have to answer that. But I don't really do a lot of hanging and chatting in my personal life with low vibers. Not that there's anything wrong with the low vibers, but
No.
I'm not giving them a lot of time. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, no, that's a fair point. And to before I answer that, to the other point about it not being time, or she just stopped the car and didn't get hit, and that is just, trying to make sense of it all and all that kind of stuff. That does resonate with me, truthfully, because there was this incident where I had heard on the news where these, I think it was maybe two famous hockey players or something like that. They had gotten hit by a car that, like, they were riding a bicycle or something, and there were some cars. You know how you have to slow down when you're behind a bike? Well, this car, pulled around and then hit them and then killed them. And it was like maybe a few days before the wedding of their sister or something. It's a tragic accident. And then there was a situation that I had listened to on YouTube where this man's 7-year-old niece had gotten hit by a car too. Sorry for all the car references.
No.
It was never my intent.
Yeah,
But
that's fine.
the trying to make sense of why this 7-year-old girl and why these two professional hockey players, it just, you could never make sense of something like that. Not that I'm aware of anyway. So I appreciate you saying that, because it's relieved. I think it's relieved me of a lot of burden, because if you adopted that view, right? And I don't ever fully adopt anything as my view. I listen to it, I take it in, I think about it, I process it, I ask questions, right? All those kinds of things, but I don't ever fully adopt it. Just because I want to be flexible and I want to be fluid, like
You're
water.
open. You're open.
Yeah.
You're open. Now I'm getting chills from you. I've actually been getting chills from you the whole show. But you're open. You're open, and there's a big difference of being open. I'm open to. I'm open. I'm open to. Rebecca, what this something in the book is wrong. Whatever you think is wrong, I'm open to that. Okay, I'm open. And let me share this. This is a quote that my best friend sent me. When it's time to die, that means you've lived long enough.
Yeah.
And when you die, you'll wake up and laugh at what you thought was your pain. Isn't that a good one?
Mm-hmm.
When you die, that means you've lived long enough.
That is a good one, and it's resonating with me, and I know I'm gonna have to chew on that for a little while, and I really like that. And one thing about that quote is, you correct me again if I'm wrong, but I think that I always think that at least two things, maybe even a million things, can be true at the same time. For a lot of people that I have seen in my life, and again, I'm not judging anyone, but I've always seen that, particularly with politics, you've got this view and this perspective, and one side thinks that they're totally right, and the other side thinks that they're totally right, and all this kind of stuff. And there's all this bickering and everything back and forth. And so I've never really thought like that. I've always thought there's multiple things that can be very true. And at the very least, especially when it comes to politics, but at the very least, your job as a human being is to at least understand why that person feels the way that they feel. You know what I mean?
No,
You don't.
no,
Oh, okay.
No, you don't need to waste your time dissecting why somebody feels the way they feel. No, that's a waste.
You
Now,
know
I'm gonna
what?
say
You're right.
waste. I'm gonna say waste, but this why are they feeling the way they're feeling? But are their feelings coming from a program? Well, who cares? It's just a program.
Yeah, in that case, then it really doesn't matter, does it?
Yeah, and so and even so, people that are programmed they'll come up with the story as to what their feelings. Well, they're going to have a
Yeah,
story for their feelings.
so true.
So no, I'm not. I'm going to tell you why I'm feeling this way. Guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to walk out that door. Bye. See ya.
Jesus.
See ya.
That's
Bye.
That's very true, and I'm glad you said that and clarified that as well. So, I guess what I was trying to say in the midst of going off on that weird tangent was the idea that, and I don't know if it was you who said this. This might be strike six for me, but it was somebody who had said that if you don't have a happy journey,
Oh, that is
like,
me.
okay, then you're certainly not going to have a happy ending. Is so
The the quote is you cannot have a happy ending to an unhappy journey.
right.
Yeah.
So that's what I meant by trying to make sense of the universe and like why certain things happen. So if somebody gets hit by that car or something, whatever happens, is it that's what I was thinking. I'm like, okay, well, it perhaps this happened because their journey has been so unhappy that
No, no, it happened because that's their destiny. Some people are just born here and they only want to stay here 6 months. Babies, they're gone, or they don't even get out. They die at birth, or they're Kobe Bryant and they die in a plane helicopter crash.
Mhm.
It sounds flip. I don't know how it sounds, but that was his destiny to die in a helicopter crash.
Wow. This is really interesting. So a couple questions, one last question, and then we can
Okay.
go into like maybe book stuff and course stuff before we go.
By
But
the way, I
yeah.
really like you. You know what I like about you?
Oh, thank you.
You know what I like about you?
What's to love?
You know what I like about you, love about you?
No idea.
Everything.
Oh, you are so nice. I feel the same way about you. You're such a doll.
Everything. Everything.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Well, one of the last question that I had for you today, with regards to this discussion, is happiness totally our responsibility?
What a great question. What a great question. Yes.
Makes sense.
Yes. hmm And that's the good news. That's how powerful you are.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is good news.
it
We're
is.
not we're not running around here just victims to our circumstances. I mean, circumstances are going to happen, but how I respond to it, and then you talked about perspectives, just the ability to come up with another perspective, and just what you were saying is, this way or this way. No, I'm open. I just there's not just one way or the other way,
Mhm.
and that is that's huge. Being open and not closed. Open, open, open as the universe is open. Whew, yeah, that's big.
This conversation is so, oh my gosh, I just don't ever want it to end. But so I would love for you to, oh, I forgot to say this earlier. My favorite part of your book, try to hold it in front of me so that the green screen doesn't take it out of the frame. But my favorite part of your book is the RLN answers section where people,
Oh, yes,
yes,
RLN answers.
that's such a great section. So maybe we could save a little bit of that for maybe the next Saturday. But I just also wanted to ask you, do you have a favorite part of the book? That's definitely my favorite. I loved all of it, but that part was like, it was just
I,
exceptional.
I don't have favorites. I don't have favorites. I don't have. Yeah, somebody asked me, what was your best day? What do you mean my
Your best
best
day ever.
day? My best day was this today.
Hey.
Best day, huh? I don't have it. You know what, Liz? Honestly, and it's not just me. I just everything that I knew, everything that I learned, I poured into this. So this whole thing is my favorite. I love this book. I love
I
this
did too.
book. And by the way, book number 2, series 2 is coming out, and series number 3 is going to be programmed relationships. I already know the title of that one. Exactly. That's right.
Yay!
Program relationships. Oh my gosh, nobody's going to want to look at that one. That's going to be horrible. But this, and the second one is I'm about 75% is questions. It's just going to be questions answered, what tough questions, not easy questions, tough questions. But yes, in book number 3, program relationships.
I'm excited. I'm pumped. That's gonna be good. Okay, cool. Well, what a wonderful place to end this beautiful interview today. It has been incredible, Rebecca. Incredible. I just can't thank you enough for this, and I, just
No, it's you I need to thank, because this is all your idea. You're the one that set all this up. You're the one that said you wanted to promote the book. This is all you, my dear Nikki.
it was.
And one of these days, I'm going to squeeze the life out of you when I meet you.
Ah!
Yeah.
One day we'll definitely hang out, pick some blueberries together or
Yes.
something.
Next year you're coming with me.
Okay. All right. I'm definitely game. Well, thank
Okay.
you again, Rebecca. I will definitely inform my audience of everything, all the wonderful things that you're doing. I appreciate it. Thank you
Thank
again.
you so much, Nikki. Later, alligator. And
Bye.
me.
Bye, guys.